If you grew up in Northeast Ohio in the late 1970s, chances are you have chilling memories of the blizzard of 1978. You're about to hear tales from that storm that you've probably never heard before. Tales not only of the power of the storm, but tales of romance, rescue, and reunion. And they all took place as a result of the massive storm known as Cleveland's White Hurricane. Let's start by taking you back to WJW TV coverage and hear how the blizzard unfolded live on television.
The weather we have gone through since early this morning and will continue to experience throughout the weekend in northern Ohio is the worst weather that most of us will ever see. It is by far the most severe winter of this century. The blizzard hit right at the rush hour this morning. The bitterly cold wind whipped in at more than 50 miles an hour. Several inches of snow came along with it. And the 24-degree temperature at 9 a.m. had dropped by noon to a -2. As commuters quickly found out, driving was an absolute nightmare today. At times, visibility was non-existent, and one could count the stalled cars and the accidents by the thousands. The governor alerted the National Guard. Many units right now are at work. The shoreway was closed for a time. Part of it still is. A blizzard warning remains in effect, and for the hours ahead, there's going to be very little change in our weather situation. If you are someplace safe and warm, stay there. If you must venture out, again, be warned that the conditions are as bad in the northern Ohio area as they will ever be.
When it comes to weather in Northeast Ohio, the blizzard of 1978 was legendary. So is former WJW meteorologist Dick Goddard, who spent more than 50 years forecasting Cleveland weather. Here is his live report from the WJW front yard as the blizzard unfolded.
It is now 6 below zero in Cleveland, and we had a wind chill factor at one time today, about 2 o'clock, that was 61 below zero, and the current wind chill is running around 50 below. We've had winds as high as 52 miles an hour here. This air that is over us now on Monday was over the North Pole. Now, that is not hard to believe. The problem tonight will not be new snow, nor will it be new snow tomorrow, yet some flurries can be expected. It is simply the blowing, drifting snow and temperatures that will be, in many cases, setting new all-time records.
The blizzard of 78 was Ohio's worst winter storm. As the eye of the storm passed over Cleveland on January 26th, the National Weather Service recorded a barometric pressure of 28.28, the lowest ever recorded in Ohio and lower than most hurricanes. Everything in the area shut down: schools, businesses, and highways.
This is as bad a traffic as I've ever seen in Cleveland, living here 6 years. It's barely moving down there. The northbound, or rather the southbound lanes out of town now are hardly moving at all. It's jammed up again. And Lordy, I don't know how they're going to get a tow truck in here to move these cars. Other freeways are in similar conditions, and people who have cars that aren't running well or are low on gas and are going to run out of gas, they're going to get stuck, and it's going to take a long time to get to people who are stranded.
One of the people trapped in the storm was truck driver James Truly.
It was raining when he left Cleveland, and but as he got further on, it was such a blizzard that he just got buried in it before he knew it.
Truly's brother recalls how James got stuck on Route 13 near Mansfield and spent 6 full days literally buried alive, waiting to be rescued. Not even his truck antenna showed above the snow.
They were sledmobile and everything across the top of it. Yeah, and
no idea that your brother was underneath?
No.
James Truly was finally rescued by the National Guard. He spent nearly a week pounding on the top of his rig with a pipe. While many share horror stories of the storm, one woman says the winds of change from that storm changed her life in the best way possible. Shirley Rogers not only fell into a snowdrift, she fell in love. Shirley knew the blizzard was coming. She remembers grabbing her 4-year and 6-year-old sons and running to catch a bus.
So I said, Kenny and Kevin, run, run. So they started running, and I ran with them, and we had on so many layers of clothes that we fell into the snowdrifts.
The man following them was Barry Rogers, who helped them out of the snow.
He convinced us to get in his car, and he dropped my kids off at the babysitters, took me to work, and then that night I had no idea how I was going to get home, and he was sitting out in the parking lot waiting for me. That was in the blizzard of 1978. We've been together ever since, and we've been married. We got married on his birthday, December 1st, 1981.
Shirley's is not the only story where fate stepped in. Angel Ahlstrom says a stranger saved her life that day when her car broke down on Route 8 in Akron. 21 and pregnant, Angel had to take refuge in her own disabled car.
Only safe place from the wind. I had no heat because I couldn't start my car. It was totally dead. And I just sat there and I prayed. I prayed for a miracle.
Out of nowhere, she saw a small white car.
I laid out my horn and I prayed and prayed that he would hear it. And you could hear the battery dying down to nothing. He got in his car, he looked over, he got in his car, he pulled his car over by mine.
That man took Angel and her unborn child to safety. She's been looking for him ever since. A 40-year quest to find him again and say thank you.
I was just extremely scared to death for my life. Scared for my life. And like I said, if it wasn't for this man, I wouldn't be alive today. Neither would my daughter.
The spring of 1978 finally did arrive and life returned back to normal, but for those whose lives were changed by Cleveland's white hurricane, the memories of that winter are still strong. More than 40 years later, there still has never been a winter storm as powerful as the one they lived through in 1978.